Yo guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I watched Friendship. Alright, so the concept of Friendship is pretty refreshing and pretty nice. It's some kind of an extra long feature film version of the short film I Think You Should Leave with also Tim Robinson, which was funny in and of itself, and the character that Tim Robinson created for this one is genius to say the least. I haven't really seen anything from Tim Robinson. I have heard about that original I Think You Should Leave movie, and I heard about it, haven't completely seen it, so I can't judge anything on that. I just know Tim Robinson mainly from that one clip of a movie or TV show, I don't even know, where he is ordering 55 pizzas, 55 fries, 55 and that entire thing, and then runs around again to order it again to get the chain going. Thought that was hilarious. So that's the main thing I know Tim Robinson from. So I was really excited to see him in a movie and to see him portray a character mostly like that in a feature film. And of course, he's also had Paul Rudd, and I always will love Paul Rudd. I do think the man is genius. I do think they kind of succeeded in making the man look a little older than he actually is. Not that's true, the man still looks very young, but at least they managed to make him look older. And I have to say, for what the concept of Friendship did, I genuinely really freaking liked this one. But I also cringed a lot. And the good thing about this version of cringing is that I completely fall for it, and I cringe immensely hard with everything that happens in this movie, but it's all on purpose, and that's what I can congratulate this movie on. It's so incredibly weird to watch, and it's so incredibly cringy, and it's so incredibly uncomfortable to watch. That's the word I was looking for, uncomfortable. And it's so genius writing, like the things that they did, the sketches that they have, because it's mainly just a bunch of sketches attached together with a thin story to have those sketches play out. It works. And the only problem I have with this movie is that this movie would have probably worked better as a short film or a max movie of an hour, and not the 1 hour 40-minute movie that they now have, because in the middle of it, it does feel like it's going to be dragged out quite a bit, and they had to think of something last minute to add to the story to make sure that we got the feature-length version of it instead of a relatively short feature-length film. And that's something that annoyed me a little bit. It's that it can't hold it on its own for the entire runtime, but there are sequences splattered throughout this, in the beginning, in the end, in the middle, that were completely awesome. Like I think there's something in here for everyone to watch, and especially because of the performance that Tim Robinson gives. In the end, or in the beginning, you can already see the red flags, but once they really come in, you completely get sucked into the story. Then it kind of lost me in the middle because it was taking a bit too long. But then there's something with a subway and licking. And even though that was in the middle of the part that didn't quite get to me as much as the beginning or the end of the movie did, that single scene and that single thing was so incredibly funny to watch that it made the entire experience better again. And even though it was placed in a thing I disliked a bit more, I loved that moment and I loved what I saw in there. Paul Rudd is amazing in this film. Tim Robinson is fucking perfect in this role, and I feel like it's the only kind of role he actually does really play, because this is what I know him from, but again, I don't know him from a lot, so I feel like this is one of those actors that can do the same thing all over again. And the big difference with him and looking at The Rock or a Ryan Reynolds, who also completely and again do the same thing, this is more unique because this is just incredible. It's just, I don't know why, there's just something very incredibly funny about watching Tim Robinson scream fuck the entire time. But that's just really funny and it just really works. And Tim Robinson knows it works and he nails the performance on that the entire time. Again, I do think the movie dragged a little in the middle, and I do think none of the other characters are quite as strong as Tim Robinson or Paul Rudd were. And I do think seeing them get a lot of screen time as well was a little bit to take away the focus from Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd. And I would have loved it maybe a bit more if it was more focused on them as a couple. Not as a couple in the relationship, in the love kind of way, but just these two together were perfect. And whenever the movie gets to the second act, they decided to get more people in that relationship, which is kind of logical because you want to expand the story, but it wasn't really necessary for this one. And it kind of bored me seeing all these characters that I just didn't give a shit about, and I wanted to see more of my beautiful performance of Tim Robinson and more of Paul Rudd, because I do think Paul Rudd isn't used enough in this film. And I think that if they kept the focus on these two a bit more, I would have loved the movie even more than I now liked it. In the end, I'm still going to give Friendship 3.5 stars. I think it was quite great. I think it was really fun to watch. I just think that in the middle it drags a bit too hard for me to absolutely start loving this movie for what it was. What did you think of Friendship? Please let me know in the comments down below, because I am genuinely excited to hear your opinion on this one. I want to thank you for watching, and I'd like to see you in the next video. Thank you, and bye bye.